Hello, welcome to the last chapter we're going to cover. This is robotics and automation. This will go, thankfully this is a short chapter, not going to be long like the others. The two main things I want to talk about today are the differences between manual, semiautomatic, machine joining, and automated joining. And then the question I always get answered when I talk about robotics is, should we be afraid of robots taking our jobs away from us? Well, I'm going to start with that second question first. As a welder, we need to embrace technology. Technology is what will drive your career forward. We need to be people looking for the next thing. I would much rather be the guy in the shop that the company sends to training to learn how to run the robot than the guy that gets canned because he was doing the whole "they took our jobs" thing. Every manufacturer is trying to make as much money as they can. One of the ways they're going to try to do that is through efficiency. And robots, with the right setup, robots are way more efficient than people are. The cool thing about welding robots is they need a welder to run that robot. They can't hire some dude, they can't hire some egghead to come in and run that robot that doesn't know welding, because the problem you're running into is if the welds are not what they're supposed to be, the robot operator that's not a welder has no idea where to start. The welder who's been trained to be a robot operator can hear it and say, "Oh yeah, the stick out's too long, we need to get the tip closer. Oh yeah, that porosity is caused by contaminants, not by lack of gas flow." So they always want the welders to become the welding operators. They don't want to push us out of our jobs. They want to give us new jobs as machine operators. So don't worry too much about that. Right now, there's not many robot cells in our area, and there's a couple reasons for that. One of them is labor rate. Robots get more and more popular as the labor rate goes up, and labor rate is going up right now. So I think we're going to see more of them. Same reason why, when the whole, $15 an hour minimum wage thing for working at McDonald's, they started talking about that. McDonald's like, "Wow, no problem. We got machines that'll build burgers for $15 an hour. Our return on investment of those robots." They'll pay for themselves. They'll be lights out McDonald's, where Skynet's feeding you cheeseburgers. So right now we're not there yet in our area. The other thing that keeps people from going robotic in their shops is the product you produce needs to be very stable and very consistent. A lot of the shops around here that do a lot of work, they don't do long runs of stuff. They do a lot of different things with a lot of hand fitting and hand fabrication. Welding robots don't work well for that. They want an established product. You put the 20 parts into a big fixture, the robot does everything, spits out the finished product. The other thing you have to have is a supply chain capable of feeding that robot cell. The place I used to work, we talked a lot about getting a robot cell. We did a lot of work. There were some things that we could make work with a robot cell. The problem is the machine shop, they didn't have the capacity to produce all the parts I needed for my people, let alone all of my people and a robot cell. And it doesn't make any sense to spend $1 million on a robotic weld cell if it's going to sit idle half the time because you can't feed it parts, you can't get parts for it. So that's some of the things that keep people from going robotics. So let's talk about the other thing, which is the different types of joining. There's manual, there's semi-automatic, there is machine joining, and there is automated joining. So manual is, let me erase this stuff. Manual is a welding process where the welding operator has complete control over the process. And examples of that are going to be SMAW and GTAW. Those are two processes where, the welder controls the movement, the angles, the feed rate, everything. Semi-automatic are wire feed processes, GMAW and FCAW. The welder controls everything except the wire feed. The machine controls the wire feed, so that's a semi-automatic process. These will be items in your welding procedures to fill out because it matters. machine joining. Machine joining is a machine is set up to weld something, and the welder manages all those parameters. The welder manages travel speed, manages the stick out manipulation, all that kind of stuff. For these, submerged arc welding is an example. I'll write this so small you can't read it. And pipe bugs, they call them bugs. That's another example. I'm going to post videos. They're not just for pipe and plate too. Bug units. The welder's wearing a welding hood, turning knobs, making the manipulation go like this, or speeding it up or slowing it down. So the welder is controlling it, but a machine is actually doing the welding. Then automated joining is, a welding robot manages everything once it's programmed. Truly automated. The parts go in, the robot does its thing, completed parts come out. This is very common in the automotive world, where you see all the welding robots coming in and welding stuff together. That's automated joining. Like I said, there are a couple places in Idaho that do it. In the ditch, in Mountain Home, they're a truly lean shop. They've embraced robotics because the products they build loan them or are a good fit for robotics, and they've got multiple robot cells. They're looking at adding more. Great place to work, but that's automated joining. That's truly robotic operation. To wrap up, robots are coming. It's going to take some time before they're really common in our area, though. What we need to understand is how they fit in a shop and how they work, so that we're ready for them when they get here. Like I said, I would much rather be the guy that they send to training to get the robot, to run the robot, than the guy that gets fired because his attitude sucks. So anyway, find me in the lab, find me online. I'll answer your questions the best I can. Find me online. I'll answer your questions the best I can.